liftoff. Liftoff of Reed Wiseman, Max Sarayev, and Alexander Gerst, the international crew on their way to the International Space Station. Right now getting good first stage performance, the Soyuz delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust from its 4 boosters and single core engine. First stage of the Soyuz measuring 68 feet in length and 24 feet in diameter, burning liquid fuel for the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the flight. Now just about 1 minute, 10 seconds into the flight of Soyuz TMA-13M, velocity of the vehicle at 1,100 miles per hour. All indications good for the rocket as it continues the first stage, continuing to fire. Next major event will be the jettison of the escape tower at the very top of the rocket. And also be sure to watch for the boosters to break off, indicating the end of the first stage. Getting confirmation, first stage separation. You can see the 4 strap-on boosters now breaking away. They have been jettisoned, completing their job, and they'll drop away at an altitude of 28 statute miles. The Soyuz craft itself now traveling at about 3,350 miles per hour. Getting indication the second stage performing as expected. And getting confirmation the launch shroud surrounding the Soyuz craft has been jettisoned. The rocket's altitude now at about 48 miles. A little over 3 minutes into launch now, the Soyuz craft traveling at a speed of about 4,700 miles an hour. 3 crew members giving the thumbs up inside, the core stage performing as expected. That core engine of the Soyuz, 56 feet in length, 13.5 feet in diameter, with a single engine and 4 fuel chambers, providing between 178,000 and 222,000 pounds of thrust, depending on the altitude. It'll fire for about a total of 3 minutes and 28 seconds. The stage is going to continue to burn until about the 4-minute, 43-second mark. Soyuz uses what's called a hot staging technique. So the third stage will ignite while the second stage is still burning. That's why the Soyuz has that small open area in between the second and third stages. Again, continuing to get views inside the cabin. Again, keep your eye on the giraffe hanging in the top left corner. The crew is always using a token to signify when the crew is in microgravity, so you'll see that float at the end of today's flight. Continuing to get good reports, all systems reported as nominal, going as expected. And pretty soon coming up on second stage shutdown and third stage ignition. And getting confirmation the second stage is shut down and separated. The core booster separated at an altitude of 105 miles. Soyuz now being propelled by a single engine of the Soyuz's third stage. That engine providing 67,000 pounds of thrust. It'll burn for about 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Getting reports of third stage engine performing as expected. So again, continuing to get good indications from the vehicle as the third stage engine continues to fire. It burns for 4 minutes and 2 seconds. So it has about 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so left in its firing time. And you'll continue to get a view from here inside the Russian Flight Control Center. Now tied in to the rocket as the third stage continues to send the astronauts into its preliminary orbit. And now 7 minutes 30 seconds since that launch from Baikonur. Velocity of the vehicle now almost 13,500 miles an hour. And once this third stage delivers the Soyuz to orbit and the module is separated, again, a series of pre-programmed commands will be executed in order to prepare the Soyuz for orbital operations. Stored commands are known as time-tagged commands. They allow many of the Soyuz systems to be automatically activated by onboard computers at very precise times that are already stored on board. Again, all indications continuing, the third stage continuing to perform as expected. Just about 30 seconds now expected until third stage cutoff and separation. In just about 15 seconds now. And you saw that bit of a jolt for them as that third stage cuts off and separates. The single liquid-fueled engine shutting down and dropping away at an altitude of about 125 statute miles. The third stage will perform an avoidance maneuver by opening a valve in its liquid oxygen tank. But again, the third stage separated. And getting confirmation, all systems being deployed successfully, confirmation of spacecraft separation, the capsule, the crew inside safely in orbit, automatically executing the pre-programmed commands to deploy those antennas and solar arrays. Soyuz itself now orbiting at an altitude of about 143 miles by 118 miles. That orbit will be raised systematically over the course of the next 6 hours as the Soyuz craft draws closer to the International Space Station. And control of the spacecraft from here on out will be overseen from the Russian Mission Control Center just outside of Moscow. So again, the Soyuz TMA-13M spacecraft now successfully in orbit. All readings pointing to a flawless launch as it made its ascent. Max Rayev, Alexander Gerst, and Reed Wiseman on their way towards the International Space Station. As mentioned, they'll have about 6 hours now as they raise their orbit through a series of adjustment burns to bring them closer to their docking to the International Space Station. All of reports coming into the control center indicating tracking no issues with the launch. A flawless launch today from Baikonur, Kazakhstan. And at this point, the Coors automated rendezvous system on the Soyuz craft being powered up. Right here we're seeing a data display from the Soyuz spacecraft, which will be used during the final approach and docking that we'll be bringing in a couple hours. So again, just to recap, successful launch today at 2:57 and 40 seconds p.m. Central Time. The three on their way, Max Rayev, Reed Wiseman, and Alexander Gerst, the next three crew members of Expedition 40, on their way to the International Space Station following a flawless launch from Baikonur, Kazakhstan. Up next, we'll have a couple of launch replays, and we'll give you a quick preview of all of the events to come this evening. Our post-launch video file coming on at 5 p.m. all times Central. At 8 p.m. we'll resume live coverage for the docking of the Soyuz craft to the International Space Station. That docking expected to come at 8:48 p.m. Central. We'll break away for a little while the crews conduct a series of leak checks, then come back on the air at 10 p.m. Central for our hatch opening coverage. Soyuz hatch opening expected to take place at 10:25 p.m. Central Time tonight. And then tomorrow at 12 a.m. In the morning, we'll have our docking and hatch opening video file for you. And then be sure to tune in again tomorrow for 10 a.m.'s Expedition 40 Space Station Live, where again we'll recap all of the evening's events. So with that, a successful launch, and looking forward now to a successful docking as the crew of Expedition 40 is making their way to the International Space Station. Be sure to join us back here for more live coverage on NASA TV in a few hours. But for now, we'll go ahead and wrap up. This is Mission Control Houston.